Welcome to the Froglogic podcast. I'm your host, David Rutherford, man, and I am here to tell you this show, man, you got to understand, every now and then a guest will come through that is a person that I have been wanting to interview since I first started doing podcast back in 2013 with Navy SEAL Radio. Yep, that's right. I started podcasting back in 2013. I used to do a show called Navy SEAL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. I think you can still find my 94 or 5 episodes that are out there. Man, I really enjoyed doing that show, but ever since then, there has been this one elusive frogman that I have wanted to get on the show. This is a guy that when I went through training with him around the same time back in 1996, he just was a cut above. He wasn't a cut above in terms of his specimen and his ability to, just dominate everything. He was a cut above intellectually. He was a cut above mentally. And yes, he was a cut above in many of the different things that he did, but, like all of us, he struggled here and there, but it was his attitude. It was his attitude, the way he looked at training, the way he looked at his influence on other people, the way he integrated with his boat crews, with his teammates, with his class, with other guys in other classes. I'm telling you what, this individual has got to be, in my mind, one of the top Navy SEALs to have worked in the last 20 years. I mean, and I know if he were sitting next to me right now while I was doing this, he would just be like, no, that doesn't. But I'm here to tell you that this individual has done things for this country that are historical. That's right. And there's a lot of different guys out there that have confirmed this for me. My good friend Dan Sorello, who runs Spartan 7, this wonderful training company out there. If you want some high-end, great Navy SEAL type training, look up Dan Sorello. We call him Taco in the teams. And this guy, this person who's coming on, he's been working with Dan forever. I had the incredible opportunity to work on a few Spartan 7 courses with them, and just their camaraderie, their friendship, their loyalty, their dedication. And Dan, who is one of the most well-respected individuals, team guys that I've ever known by far, love you, Taco, man, more than you can imagine. He hands down said that Chris Smith is one of the most substantial players in the war against terrorism in the last 20 years. Now, that's for coming from a guy like Dan, who has multiple combat tours from West Coast SEAL teams, coming from him, as well as many, many other guys I know that know Chris Smith, have all said the same thing. This guy is the elite of the elite, man. And he worked his way up, worked on some tier 1 units out there. And, it's been such one of those ideas that, man, if I could ever get Chris on to share his viewpoints, his ideology, the way he looks at life itself, I just know that Froglogic fans out there would just fall in love with this guy and end up wanting to pay attention to everything this guy does, which is the absolute honest truth. So today's show is with Chris Smith. He is the owner of Trident Mindset, which is a new online training company that he, along with a bunch of other business people, leadership development, neuroscientists, intelligence operators, special operators, entrepreneurs, all got together to create this beautiful program called Trident Mindset Training. And you can go check it out at tridentmindset.com to learn more about what it is they're doing, how they're enhancing. And we jumped into their program extensively on the show. So you're gonna get to hear Chris talk a lot about this, as well as really some unbelievably heartfelt, emotional things that he cares about in his life. I'm telling you, there's probably been two other courses, two other shows that I've been a part of where I've actually teared up based on the intensity, the authenticity of one man's ideology and his belief system in the world and in each other. And this was one of those shows, man. So you are in for a treat with Chris Smith coming on. He also owns Trident CrossFit up in the Washington, D.C. area. So if you live in that area, please go check out their facility. It's an incredible facility with just incredible energy. You won't want to miss this. He's a insane eco challenge racer, multiple like endurance runner at 50. I think he's 51 or 2 years old. And, you know, he just was in the one that was on Amazon Prime, the one hosted by Bear Grylls. He was in the first all African-American eco challenge team that ever competed. You can see him on that if you go to Amazon Prime and watch that show. He's coming up with a bunch of other insane races that I know we're going to talk about. We did talk about. I recorded this a few weeks ago. But I'm telling you, what you're going to pull away from this show, what you're going to learn from Chris Smith is exactly why you pay attention to Navy SEAL stuff. You know, there's a reason why people want to check out what we have to say, what we're talking about, you know, how it can help people, how it can help teams, how can it help individuals really dig into the human condition and understand what it means to succeed in every extreme environment there is. And Chris Smith is a guy that understands that vividly, man. I have just profound respect and love for the man, and you're going to hear that in our interview. I just am so excited to get at it. But before we do, I just want to thank you all so much for your continued listening to the Froglogic podcast. If you could, you know, write a review on any platform that you have. We're transitioning over. We're going to be mainly a part of Anchor, which is Spotify's new hosting mechanism out there. So, you know, head over to Spotify and write a review for me. And if you haven't one, if you want to do one over on iTunes or SoundCloud or wherever, anything is appreciated, because the more reviews we have, the better we can be found out there. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I hope we've been providing you with some really interesting, awesome information over the last year since I got back to starting the Froglogic podcast again. So I appreciate it. If you or your company is struggling right now, and the pandemic, the social unrest, the political firestorm is really hampering your company, and you need a little dose of Froglogic, a little motivation that can work, I've got a great talk for you, Pandemic Motivation, and I've got 7 other talks that I can give. I can give them remotely. I can come to where you are. I've done probably almost 30 online presentations since this all kicked off. So, you know, head on over to teamfroglogic.com. That's Team Froglogic. Send us a little note, and I'll be happy to reach out to you, and we'll set up something where I can help you and your organization kind of work through the pain of what we've been experiencing with the pandemic and everything else. I'm happy to do that. That's what I do for a living. If you have a team, if you have a sports team, a professional sports team, a college sports team, a high school sports team, and you need a little performance coaching, whether it's leadership development for kids or it's team orientation, that's what I do. That's what I specialize in building great teams, great team culture. Again, head over to Team Froglogic, send us a note, and I'll get in touch with you, and we'll see if I have what it takes to help you. If this is your first time listening, you're not familiar with my background, I'm a former U.S. Navy SEAL. I worked for the CIA. I worked for Blackwater. I've also been a world championship performance coach. In 2018, I had worked with the Collegiate World Series champions, the Oregon State Beavers, and I worked in my 3rd year with the Boston Red Sox, and we won a World Series championship. I've also worked last year with the Green Bay Packers, who won an MNFC. I worked with the Penn State men's lacrosse team, still working with them. They went to the Final Four last year. I worked with the UPenn football team with 2 Ivy League championships with them. So I have a track record of success in helping teams really find kind of the camaraderie and the willingness that you need to really foster great culture and a winning mentality. So again, head over to teamfroglogic.com. And while you're there, check out all of our merchandise. We've got great truckers hats and fitted Flex Fits hat. We've got Embrace Fear t-shirts and Froglogic t-shirts. We've got all kinds of cool stuff that you'll really dig. And also, we're going to start posting a regular blog on that site, as well as a regular blog on the Froglogic Institute, which I'll talk about here in a second. So you'll be able to really read some great blog entries, because the one thing that I know, unfortunately, you can't count on social media anymore. If you're not aware, I have been locked out of Instagram for about a month now, with absolutely zero explanation. It's pretty pathetic, considering that I typically don't post anything controversial. I'm not trying to enhance the political firestorm out there. My whole message in life is let's be critical thinkers. Let's find some common ground. Let's use our common sense before we drive this thing into civil war. But for some reason, some way, somehow, Instagram decided to lock me out of my 66,000 followers. So if you have been following me, that's why I haven't posted. I've been locked out. I did start a new Instagram page. It's called Rut's Froglogic, and I've started posting there finally after working through a month of frustration and what I was going to do. But my main focus is now I'm going to really push towards delivering stuff on my website, which also, by the way, Facebook has deemed against community standards for over a year now. I've sent over 300 requests to Facebook. They have not answered a single one as to why my website goes against community. This is the greatest thing too, is I'm sitting here looking over at my books, and I'm looking at my kids' books I've written, Doc Frog's kids book for PT. Then I also wrote an anti-bully book, a Doc Frog anti-bully book, where he and his three other buddies, Hannah Hawk, Semper Fido, and Wiley Wolf, go out and they teach kids how to set up a counter surveillance mission for against bullying. And for some reason, man, Facebook does not want me to be able to post my website. So I think, it just is what it is. If you know anybody over there and you can help me out and you can get some kind of answer for me on why Froglogic goes against community standards, I'd appreciate that. If not, then, whatever. We're going to work around it. We're not going to be silenced. We're not going to be taken offline by whoever is deeming that I am a detriment to people in my message. I could really care less. It's social media is going to come and it's going to go away, and the content will remain. The podcast will remain. My blog entries will remain. The daily dose of Froglogic is going to remain. I'm going to keep writing books, and most importantly, the biggest announcement I have for sure is the Froglogic Institute. We launched about a month ago. We launched with our very first course called the Embrace Fear Training Program. It is a 5-week course where we just finished week 4. We have very satisfied people. They're going to be given a lot of testimonies after they finish next week in their 5th week. It's been an incredible experience. I think we really have managed to help people learn what their fears are, really dig down and identify what they're afraid of in life, why, how it affects them physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to better understand it, to accept the reality of their fear, to learn to live with it, and then how to retrain their brain on how not to allow fear to dominate them, to inhibit you from all the things that you want, and really in discovering your pathway of purpose. That's what Froglogic is, essentially. It's 4 main concepts. Teaching people to embrace their fears first, to forge their self-confidence second, to live a team life third, and ultimately to discover and live with purpose. And so we released the very first training course. We are going to start the second course, the Embrace Fear training course, starting November 1st. So if you're interested, or someone you know is interested, or you know somebody who needs this, go over to the froglogicinstitute.com, right? That's the new website. Check us out there and sign up for the Embrace Fear training course. It's a 5-week course that will change your life, because I'm willing to bet, if you're listening, you have never once, at a minimum, written down all of your fears, much less learn how to live with them in your life. And that's what this course is designed. It's designed on the 30 plus years experience I've had of researching, experiencing life, reading, witnessing my own fears and all the different things I've done. And I've really narrowed it down into this really beautiful 5-mission program, 5-week program to help you learn how to embrace your fear and to utilize it as a way of enhancing your life and putting you on that pathway of purpose. So again, head over to the Froglogic Institute. You'll check out the course. The next course starts November 1st to December 5th. There are 3 different tiers that you can sign up for: the boat crew level, the platoon level, and then the regular team level. Different costs. And we do have a delayed cost program set up, so you can be charged $50 a month until you reach it. But this is a course, if you've been struggling through the pandemic, if you're hurting, if you just can't shake off all of the debilitating aspects of what you're dealing with right now, and you're really afraid for the future, this is the course for you. And this course can be taken by college kids. It can be taken by housewives. It can be taken by, men that are trying to figure out how to become better fathers and better businessmen. And man, this course is designed to help all people deal and embrace their fear. So again, head on over to the Froglogic Institute. You can follow me also on social media out there, Ruts Froglogic on Instagram or at Team Froglogic on other places. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm still on Facebook, but I'm going to be driving most of the new content I do to my YouTube channel, which is David Rutherford. Just look that up, Navy SEAL David Rutherford on YouTube, and I'm putting out more and more videos. As well as on my blog that's going to start on my website here soon. So without further ado, man, stand by because you are in for a treat. Drum roll, please. Here we go. Now.
Yeah. So he's an actual journalist, and we were just using the same shared workspace, which is owned by a friend. And he's like, oh man, why don't we just have a little chat? We'll podcast this we'll record it so that he can have his notes to write. And during the interview, it was more like an interview, he would say, and I'm John so-and-so here with the Alexandria News, and we're talking with, he'd inject that often.
Right.
And our next question is going to be, so this is what you're talking about. He was phrasing the thing so that he could write his article, but for the listeners that were clearing away, is like, oh, this is what we're doing. This is what we're talking about next.
Wow.
And then again, oh, this is who I am. This is what we're doing. This is what we're talking about next. And I was like, wow, what a word format. But then reading his article, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. He needs to have it that way. So when he writes, he understands what's going on. Because he's really only recording the podcast for notes.
Exactly.
Not for boardwalk distribution, which is pretty cool. And like I said,
to be able to think in that linear, right? To be able to space, and this is something that I think I struggled with mostly because we're taught to do this, right? We always have to be conscientious of the time in the future because it's representative of a massive component of solution, right?
Right.
So it's always pressing on us. It's always pressing on us, man.
Right.
And that's why I no watches anymore. I'm trying to get away from everything that's telling me I'm going to die, And what's interesting is when you get people, really creative people, like musicians in particular, I think have that ability to see spatially, right?
Right.
Way in the future, and then to recall a component in the past and to splice the information to where whoever is going to be downloading it can get it one after the other, man. And that's cool. That person been doing it forever, huh?
Yeah. And it was crazy too, because he, in his head, although he was recording the audio, he was writing notes with words and pictures.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He'd start and he'd be like, oh, hold on a second. And he'd draw a picture. Then he'd continue the interview. And I'm like, wow, what spatial awareness is that? It's like, well, I don't need to have every single word for the context of what we're covering. This image is going to remind me of what we talked about, and I can share it. And I was, what the heck?
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's
At first I thought he was a
awesome.
little bit of an oddball. I'm like, this is an odd cat. But then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's how he sees things.
Well, think about all you got to do is go back to hieroglyphics, man.
Yes.
Why print out however many characters it takes in your particular language when I can just draw this cool little chip, this little,
Yeah. This is
and
what we're
that
doing.
means the fertile valleys of Giza,
Yeah.
or some shit like that, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's brilliant. I love it.
I do it all the time at the gym. We have I have a wood shop in my gym, and we build stuff. And my co-builders, right? We get there and we start collaborating. Just oh, we gotta do this. Let's make it this. Let's make it this way. And you sketch on a whiteboard.
Yeah,
You look at
man.
the whiteboard. There's not maybe some dimensions, but nothing else. There's the idea of what we're building, this box or this shelf or this thing, a few dimensions, and everybody understands. But if you
Right
try to
there.
describe that out, you're like, and we're going to cut this wood by 5 inches by 22 or
We're gonna use this type of sauce
Yeah.
or angle of entry. Yeah. Oh, yeah, way, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But we all learn
Well-
differently though. Or remember
well,
differently.
Hold on. Let me just do something real quick. All right. Welcome to the Froglogic podcast. I'm your host, David Rutherford, with and this is no shit. And I know every time I say this, people are like, you say this all the time, right? This is one of the best human beings I've ever known in my life, everybody. No, it's God's honest truth. And we're going to get into it. If you just listen to 30 seconds of our intro, because he said press record, and I did, you're going to understand that it's not often you get to meet a person that has been asking themselves the real questions for their whole life, which is, who am I and why am I here?
Boom.
And also, you don't meet a lot of people who can eloquently describe a why, a real answer to why, as I want to improve 7 strangers' lives every single day of my life. And you also don't meet somebody that was recently on the world's toughest challenge, the Eco Challenge Fiji. If you watch that on Amazon Prime, you saw my man Chris with Team Onyx, which was a historical making team, I understand. And then then the next weekend, just last weekend you climb what?
Yeah, last weekend we did for the Epic Charity Challenge and the Trident House, we did a donation walk from the Grand Canyon. We did South Rim across, North Rim, back down, across, South Rim, I think about 48 miles over 2 days.
Oh yeah,
Beat
nonstop.
down. Yeah, no, we slept. We had there were like 22 guys on the event.
Okay.
We did sleep in RVs, so if you finish slowly, you got little sleep. If you finish more quickly, you got more sleep. But yeah,
the old carrot dangle of sleep.
yeah, exactly. The old pays to be a winner, man. That makes sense still in my life. Pays to be a winner.
It is the greatest commentary of, I think, inspiration, right? And
Right.
so often when I say it with people, whoever I'm hanging out with or talking or whatever, man, it's like it pays to be a winner, huh?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Does it mean if you ain't first, you're last? Is that some kind of Ricky Bobby shit you're throwing at me? And I'm like, no, you've never heard that saying before? And they're like, no,
Yeah.
what does it mean? Oh, and by the way.
It's still a truism, though. I use it like all the time in my life, where as we reward ourselves or give ourselves value or credit at the end of an event, you can add on to that. If I do this quicker, I get more of this, more pleasure. If I do this slower, I get less pleasure. So it's up to you how you want to kind of finish things, right?
Unless you're David Goggins, and then it's just pure pleasure. Whatsoever.
Your pain,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, his equal sign is pain equals pleasure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
it. There's nothing in between, man.
Yeah.
Just like those old marathon or those marathoner, the Japanese monks that do you ever read about those guys?
Yeah.
When I first interviewed David on Team Never Quit, I try to do a bunch of research, and he was quoted one time talking about these Japanese monks that would try and run 1,000 miles every year, and you had to do it for 10 years.
Oh, I didn't hear this. Good.
Yeah. And so if they get to a place where they miss or whatever, there's stories of them committing Harry and killing themselves because they didn't ascend to the highest platitude of pain, whatever that is. You know?
Oh.
And he had quoted that this was, and so I brought it up, and he's like, "Hell yeah, I love those motherfuckers," you know. And it's just like, man, that's awesome, man. And so what's interesting, and what I want to get into, and just so. I know and this will happen, everybody. We're going to get sidetracked quite a bit because that's who we are. And that's
what makes it fun, though, man. It's like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of I'm torn between a couple words here: organic, authentic, true, conversation.
Well, true is a big question right now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What is true? And
intent.
What is right? Intent. And I believe so too. Now, where does intent get you, and where does it come from?
I think intent comes from understanding your why, what you're passionate about, what you're supposed to be doing. That's your true intent. I think it's easy to be misguided or dissuaded or distracted from that intent because people are always trying to assess those values on yourself. Having true intent and passion and
Can I ask you a quick question? They're assessing your values, or are they assessing you through their values?
They're assessing you through their values.
Okay, sorry.
Right? That's where communication gets lost is, I think you want to hear this, so I'm going to say that, which is maybe not my truism or my authenticity. I cherish your response to my, whatever I'm giving, my delivery. I want to see that. I want you to validate what I'm saying. So I'm not going to be true to myself because I'm afraid that you're not going to like me. You're not going to value me. You're not going to understand me. So instead of being true to myself with what I say to you, I'm saying things in hopes that we connect or you validate or we validate each other.
Somewhere on that. Right? That plane of rapport, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is, I think, the most critical aspect of anybody who decides that really observing the human condition and being able to deconstruct it down to the way you just did it through intent, right? One singular concept, and then we deconstruct it to a place where it becomes your truism.
Right.
And I think when you have that, ability to be able to evaluate in the level that you have developed your skill sets into, and we'll get to how, when you really realize this is what you want to do. But as a performance driver, that's essential. You have to do those evaluations all the time in real time if your why is to grow, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And we limit ourselves by doing that. We don't understand. Well, most people don't have.
Do you start with the why? Do you start with the why first?
Dude, if I say nothing else today, everything starts with why.
Okay. Why?
Everything of value starts. I'm fucking fired up.
Yeah.
Value starts with why.
Did you see me? I moved like 6 inches back from my computer, man. This is what I know, my spatial relationship with you when you start blasting off. Dude, are you kidding me? It's awesome.
Yeah. It seems to me now that I'm 54 now, and maybe just the last 5 years or so, it really started to impact me on how important that why is.
Was there a specific time or thing that jumped in your head, or was there an event?
I had an epiphany. I have a friend, Gary Sanchez, who runs the Why Institute, and he has a nice little algorithm on an app that you can kind of answer 5 or 6 different questions, and it helps you identify one of Simon Sinek's 9 whys. Contributor, better way, right way, mastery, all the things. So I took this little app. He's in a different group with me, a business group with me. Gave us the test. It's really like 2 or 3 minutes, and it came back for me, better way. And it just hit me so hard that my entire life, all I think about is a better way to do shit. That's it.
I can vouch for that.
Doesn't matter what you tell me. I hear you, but all I'm processing is, yeah, your way's pretty good, but I'm sure my way is better. Right? And it caused tension in some relationships because when I was younger, I didn't understand I needed to bridle that a little bit and not just thrust upon you that my way is better because now I'm just telling you what to do, or like I didn't understand that. Okay, no matter what, I feel that my way is better because it fucking is. But at the same time, as I have transcended or grown, your way is okay too. Your way is the better way for you. Before I would challenge that. Go ahead.
Can we start with the first half? All right. All right. Because those are two humongous halves that are coming together. And I really want to understand how you get there. And so when was the ignition point for when you had the self-confidence enough to where you say, no, man, my way's the way?
Yeah.
And where did you get that self-confidence from? Because that's, I think, such a pivotal thing in our lives, that we're receiving that information. Like you said, we know where we're getting it from is like, I like that information. That makes me feel better, makes me feel stronger. So I'm going to take that and replicate it. When was that point for you where like, no, man, I'm good?
Well, I've always well, that's not true. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago is when I understood it.
The conjoining of the two ideas.
Understood.
What your why was, like
what my why was, how I think,
problem
or
solving,
why I think.
Interesting.
Right? Not how I think, but why I think. Like why when I watch you put this barbecue set together, why my way is going to be better and faster, because it is. You're doing it that way, which is slower, less efficient, and my way is going to be better. So, but I've always been like that.
But I want to also put in that reference, though, because if you're talking only 4 years ago, you're also not only talking about, hey, I can build that barbecue set 1,000 times better, but I can also do these really high-level skills.
Yes.
Really high-level skills, like the type of skills that only a handful of people have in the world.
Right.
I can also do that. So
right.
I just want to reference that for the listeners, because you always have a way of humbling how you got to these points, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't, I think you're probably one of the most gracious people I've ever met in my life as well too. And that's not part of one of the other million reasons why I love you.
Thank you.
So within that spectrum of why that you were a problem solver, did even before all your training began? Because I mean, you came in military late, you were an engineer at Price Waterhouse.
Yeah.
You had a full life, you were kicking ass. Was it in that space too, in teenage years? And
early. I'll even reference it back to, and you see a lot of kids doing this. It's like, remember the old school wind up alarm clocks or an old school radio?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I gotta take that thing apart and figure out a better way to make that. Like, I always have been this way, but I didn't understand. It was just like, oh, you're just a tinkerer. You're just an engineer. Like, I needed to know how things worked so that I could improve them, because in my mind, there's a better way. In my mind, okay, if that's good, there's got to be a better. I still feel like every single day, bro, it's a curse. I still feel that way every single thing I do. But now I understand, okay, that's just what you're thinking. It might not, it's just how I'm built. We'll take another better way, like a contributor. They're just here to contribute to a greater cause. They want to serve others. They want to help people do things. They don't need the credit for it. They just want to be part of the experience, where that's all they're thinking about. They don't want to take lead. They don't want to be the boss. They just want to help out. For a better way person like myself, I just need to know, it doesn't matter what it is, man. If I could cook a steak on Monday, on Tuesday, I'm cooking it differently, because there's got to be a better way to cook the damn steak. I know there's a recipe, but I'm going to add more salt to see what that tastes like. You know what I mean?
I'm going to buy a different oven next week. I'm going to have 6 ovens, 3 grills, because I'm going to find the best fucking steak ever.
My wife is like, man, you never make the same thing twice. Just look at the recipe. I'm like, it's just a recipe. It's just an idea.
It's a guide.
It's a guide. And my whole life it's been like that.
Can I ask a quick question too?
Yeah.
Because I think one of the things that's always fascinating too is that as you're allowing all the information to penetrate, I always watch, you have such great, you do it with people, right? It's not just your toys or the wind up
Right.
clock. It's not just anything, but I distinctly remember you in Buds as you weren't the overt motivator. You weren't, like the hoo-yah guy, like I tried to be. You were the guy that would walk over to some guy that was struggling and pat him on the back and say, "Hey man, you got this. Come on. It's all good." And so I see that in you too. So did you have that as well with relationships, growing up, friendships? Were you always the guy that people came to for the advice?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like like my childhood was awesome. And the one undercurrent that no matter what it was, I always felt like I wanted to be part of a team. I never needed to be the individualized person. I never needed to seek the glory. I never needed to be that guy on the top of the podium. I was always more interested in how the team performed, how we connected as people trying to accomplish a goal.
Wow.
Now, I've always been that way. But I didn't understand then when I'm, younger, you're just kind of going through life, not really understand. I understand now.
Yeah.
But reflecting back, I've always been that way. I've always I love being part of a bigger purpose, but still understanding my input, my inject, my impetus, how I'm going to affect the team to accomplish a common goal. I see that in racing now. Yeah.
Let me ask, because I know you've gone into where that, and I want to get to Trident Mindset. I want to get to the evolution of that, all your racing. Yeah. I think because one of the big things you talk extensively about is Stoicism. Yeah. And then picking the right hammer, right? And and these are massive critical things. I think that's why people seek us out as former SEALs that are trying to gives people some positive tools to advance them. So I'm definitely gonna get there. But before you do that, as when you see as a person that wants to find a solution, do you see that in how rapidly first do you identify the challenges within a team?
So I already have your answer before you finish the question. That's how it is, dude. I've had to learn and train to actually listen, because as soon as you start talking, I'm like, I know what he's going to say. I already got the answer. So I'm learning, still continuing to learn, to listen, to let them finish. Hey, we got to figure. I already got a solution.
Press that pause button. Press that little pause button in your inner monologue, motherfucker.
It's been a struggle, right? Easier now, but it's been a struggle at times,
dude.
It's been a struggle.
Well, let me ask you this. So obviously one of the things that...
Hey, did you want to finish your question? No, I'm kidding.
No, you don't want to finish that. Let's go on to this other one. That's what people always say. Rut, you never let people finish their questions. I go, I can't,
right?
Well, I'm trying to, and you'll say something. And I know with you, there's an answer to everything that pops in my head, right? You can provide those solutions. So I want to make sure I can explore what I think the critical ones that can help people on listening develop their understanding of the human condition, right? All right. So you got to a point in your professional career that you were, and the way I had it described to me was through our mutual friend, Jason Beardsley.
Yeah.
With the first time.
Man.
Yeah. Oh, he's
what a good human being, right?
He cares so much.
Oh,
he cares so much. You ever meet those people that, the orators of the world?
Yes.
Who, when they speak, there's no waste in their words.
And you're hanging on every single one. Like I'm sitting on a milk crate when he's talking and just like, oh, teach me. Actually, when you said his name, Dave, when you said his name, my body temperature changed and my calm changed.
Because he shows the way. And the way he described it was that we live in these states of performance thresholds, right? And we each have a max rate that we hit physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, however you want to break those components down, whatever your metrics are, that we all have that max point. We can't go any higher, any further, anything. And, most people are down here at 25 or whatever, some high performers, 35 to 40 in there. And maybe the outliers are that 40 to 50. And then there's, people that choose to go further. And,
Right.
and you were one of those people. And because of that, you were forced to be always in a space where you're evaluating every context of it. It's no longer multi-dimensional, which I think a lot of people want to think in. Are these, when they're real intellectuals or they think through things, but you're omnidirectional.
Right.
How does that play a role in how you get people to think more like with this Trident mindset?
Yeah.
How do you widen people's perspective?
Yeah. I can't, the answer I think is it takes more than one. It takes a group. It takes a collective. You're right. At the level that we were playing at in that field, you're, I don't know if the word is hyper aware. Your awareness is so broad for a myriad of reasons, safety, health, all the stuff that's going to keep you alive. The amount of information that you're taking in at any given moment is all of it. It's all of it. All of it. A friend of mine once told me, like, before we deployed, like, your mission starts when you step on the plane. Your mission finishes when you step off the plane back at home. That means you're constantly aware, absorbing, calculating, problem solving, solution gaining, like every single thing, everything you see, every hand gesture, every face gesture, every bit of clothing, like every single thing you're absorbing and cataloging, holding in case you need it, which is exhausting, which is why that job is so tolling, but it's exhausting, but that skill doesn't quite go away. So even when you come off the plane and come back home, we're living in my real life every single day now. Like I walk down the street with my wife. I'm like, oh, did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see that? She's like, I ran to the door. I didn't say anything. You know what I mean? I'm calculating the dog pace over here and the car pace over there and the three guys behind me. It's all in there. And it's hard to get rid of that skill set. It's very challenging. Every day my wife's like, where's this? Where is that? I'll be in my bed sleep. Oh, you left it over here yesterday, 2 days ago. You did this and did that. And I can just find things. It's just in my head, these visuals, these pictures, these things of where everything is in our not so neatly organized house. I just know where everything is, which is kind of crazy. But it's a skill that's developed. How do I, So the question is, how do I take that experience, take that knowledge, take that tactic, that skill, and try to teach that? Well, I am only one person, and yes, my way is better, but it ain't the only way. I understand that, so I need a team of people. That's what Trident Mindset is. We have a lot of people on our team to help us convey information so the masses can understand. Because I'm really good at talking to people like me, but I'm not so good at talking to, I don't know, Miss Yoga Pant Wear girl. It's just very challenging and difficult for me, right? Because we just see things differently. So we need different people to help us construct or communicate with more of a myriad or the masses so that information that we're trying to convey is understood. So it's not just me. I have a big picture, but my team helps me kind of relay or communicate information or the skills, experience, and tactics that I've learned over the years, so people can understand that. So,
let me ask you a question then. We'll make a nice pivot into the Trident Mindset for a little bit. And so you've owned Trident CrossFit in Alexandria, right?
Yep.
And it's what you've been around
10 years,
10
man.
years,
over
man.
10 years now.
Over 10 years. And you have one of the most robust communities. I love watching your videos. I love following everybody. Everybody just, they've recognized the power of how you visualize things, and they want to be a part of that. And that's a beautiful thing. But recently, I guess somebody somewhere finally shook some sense into you, Chris, and said, you need to teach what's in your head.
Yeah.
Because we can't follow along. It takes us 10 years to figure out, just get started with what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming you got that team together.
Yep.
And you guys came up, and if you go to the tridentmindset.com and / check out the program and how you learn mental toughness, you and your team came up with these bullet points that they're going to teach: stoicism, intentionality, flipping the script, choosing the wrench.
Yeah.
You know I'm coming back to that. You know I'm coming back to that. Mindfulness, discipline, micro goals, focus, breath control, thought control, meditation, and visualization. All right. First off, how long was the process with you and your team to kind of take the 15,000 things that you discuss every day and whittle it down to that?
Yeah. So I'm going to kind of reference a book, Rocket Fuel. Rocket Fuel is, they talk about the visionary and the implementer, right? Chris Smith is a visionary, bro. Like,
yes, you are.
I am. And you asked me to write something, it's not going to happen, first off, right? So I've had this idea of creating some kind of program. Didn't know the platform, but I knew I wanted to share the experience, share the skills, share the tactics with the world. I just couldn't figure out how to do it. So I've been lamenting on that for the last couple of years. But I'm sure you will agree that we put a vibration or energy into the universe and things happen for you.
Well,
right?
Can I suggest that your vibration has been going on for quite a long time, really.
Yeah.
You were part of with Mark Devine's original crew with Seal
Yep.
Fit back in the day, which was a beautiful program. I really love what Mark has designed and done. The Okoro is just legendary out there in the kind of Navy SEAL self-help world, for sure.
Right.
And then you and Dan went and started Spartan 7, which I have been so blessed to have been a part of a couple of those, man. It's just
fired up.
It is one of the greatest, two of probably my favorite people on the planet, you and Dan.
Yeah.
And so you've been a part of that. You've taught at Trident CrossFit. I know you're teaching other places too.
Yeah.
So this is an evolution, man.
It is.
Where you've not only lived your life, where you've learned how to take it all in and process what is needed dependent upon the particulars of the environmental pressure back on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
As well as your intention and what environment you're going to go seek. You're able to do that. But you've also you've placed other people in these environments.
Yeah.
And you've applied, I'm assuming you've been the wrench.
I've been the wrench.
You've been the wrench for a long time.
The wrench and the hammer.
So when your team was around, was it pretty easy to narrow it down to those?
Well, it's really like a conversation where, hey man, here's my concept. Here's my idea of micro goals or goal setting. This is what I'm thinking. Yes, you got to have big goals out there, but who cares about your big goals if you don't have small goals to get to your big goals? So I'm spitting out information, and
Preach.
my writer, Chris Carroll.
Did they record those, please?
Oh my God. In like double X speed, because Chris Smith talks fast.
There's only one other person on air that ever could talk even close to that's Ben Shapiro, man. But I think when you get more excited, you get going. So
I do. I get passionate because I know what I'm here for. And this is just a culmination of what I'm passionate about. I didn't have a platform to figure it out. I should write a book. I should do this. I should do that. But what I really do was like, man, I need to give people actionable tactics and skills that they can, I'm going to put in quotation marks here, practice. Right? So many people put out programs and ideas and philosophies, and people digest them written or audibly, or however they digest them, but they never get an opportunity to practice and assess what they're doing. So they're never creating any habits.
The behavioral shifts, right?
The behavioral shifts, right? Yep. So our program, it's an online training program, but it also allows you to learn a new tactic, to practice that tactic for a month, and to assess your ability on how you perform that tactic. So it's learning, not just reading, not just digesting and regurgitating. It becomes part of you. But to answer your question, as I'm talking with my hands a lot, as I'm talking at triple X speed, they're digesting what I'm saying and put it into a context. Then we kind of look at it. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I change it because I'm a better way kind of guy. That's why I can't write, dude. I'm telling you, I can't write because as soon as I start writing, I want to erase it and write it again.
You need you need a writer
I do.
like the guy who, like the journalist. You probably could work with someone like that who can just say, knows the series of questions to ask you.
Yes.
Presses record, transcribes it, and then puts it all together.
Puts it all together. Yeah.
That's what you need to do, man.
So my right-hand man, Chris Carroll, is my analyst who can like distill down so that a normal person can understand what I'm trying to get across.
What's Chris's background? I know it's pretty.
Yeah, he's an Intel analyst.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he can distill down all the stuff I'm spitting out there into a usable product. Some digestible material that people can onboard, can execute, and retain.
Right.
Which is super hard. It's super hard. If you talk to me, I mentor people, man. I coach people, and I notice when I'm doing that, I'm like, don't get me wrong, not trying to be braggadocious, but knowledge bomb, this idea, that idea, try this, try that, like all the things in efforts to make my 7 touches or my connections so that I create a deep and meaningful relationship that dovetails into execution of a task, whatever that task may be. And I find myself, even if I'm personal training somebody in fitness, I'm teaching them a power clean or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 1% is about the power clean. 99% is about other stuff that makes you want to power clean better, right? Mm-hmm. So he's able to distill that down for me a little bit. And we collaborate, obviously, with a little bit greater team and kind of come up with intention of what we're trying to produce. So it's not just a solo show. You know what I mean? It's not just.
It never is. I mean, you look at all the great concepts in history that really were monumental towards shift in consciousness, right?
Yes.
Right. When you talk about the Age of Enlightenment, it wasn't just a few people. I mean, there was a whole litany of authors that started writing and pondering and questioning our existence, from Descartes to Rousseau. I mean, it's just one of those things that, man, the evolution of thinking is it takes place all the time.
All the time.
The challenge many times is the person that's pushing the envelope of the thinking doesn't have another skill set that can consolidate it and drive it forward. And I think that's what the brilliance of all these new programs are.
Yeah.
People have more access to, yes, don't get me wrong, I have immense pains with all of the garbage that's being inundated, but that's part of when you open a system, that's what's going to happen.
That's going to happen, yeah.
The percentage of garbage is going to fill in. But, your course and mental toughness, and this is a substantial tool that people need right now.
Yeah.
They
absolutely.
need it. They're desperate. So let's just tell me real quick to try and understand Stoicism, and then we'll do choosing the wrench after.
Okay. Stoicism, the art of being stoic, right? Sometimes in life, we find ourselves in positions where we can choose to be lesser of a human or greater of a human. I'm going to take the high road. I'm going to present myself in I hate to use the word to define it, a stoic manner so that people see the righteousness of who you are instead of the lesser of who you are. Regardless of what you're feeling on the inside, the art of acting stoic is the art of presenting the best you possible. People will follow stoic men. They will not follow lesser men, right? So go ahead.
You sure? Or if you've got more, or if they're not done, because what's in my mind is, all right, where do we generate the framework of what a stoic man or a stoic woman is? Where are we pulling that information from?
Yeah, I think it's I almost said execution of distribution. Doesn't really make sense. It's if I can break it down to a small, let me see, a digestible kernel of. When bad things or adverse things start to happen, no matter what, we're all going to feel flustered. We're all going to feel stressed. We're all going to have an emotional relationship to whatever that adverse condition is. The stoic person, we'll say a firefighter, will rush into the house to save the person. The less stoic person will not do that. but they don't need to seek the glory of I rushed in the house to save the kid that's burning up or whatever. They just do those things naturally. They have a presence about them that is regal. They have a presence about them that says, I'm in control of my own emotions. I'm in control of who I am. I'm in control of the situation. So follow me. Instead of the person that's going to immediately hit the smoke alarm, the panic button, or whatever it is, and loses their shit inside of an adverse situation. As you heard me say many, many times, maybe you have. Ain't no reset on the panic button, bro. Once someone hits it, it's hit. You're panicking.
On.
So being stoic is not hitting that panic. You may want to. Your hand may be hovering over it like this, but you're not going to hit it. You're going to remain calm, remain stress-free, stay in control of your thoughts, stay in control of your mindfulness, understand your intention, and be that person that's going to be righteous all the time.
Well, that comes, I mean, God bless you if you grew up and you're a Christmas kid, right? And that's the influence you got from day one. Maybe you had the great coach, a wrestling coach, a great BJJ coach or master or whatever. And maybe you had great parents, maybe you didn't, but there was someone who taught you the value and the presence of stoicism.
Yeah.
That's fine and dandy. But
dude, it can be just as simple as stand up and be proud.
Amen to that. And that's what people aren't learning anymore.
Right.
There's a conscientious attack on people's individuality to be able to perceive themselves as the way they see themselves.
Yeah.
And based on any one of their non-stoic actions in their past or whatever, that people are because of that fear, whatever you want to call it, cancel culture, whatever you want.
Yeah.
Because of that fear, right? Because of that fear, we are pulling back on that stoic nature. We do not want to expose whether or not we're picking a side anymore.
Right.
So this is critical, what you're teaching.
Hard.
It's now more than any other time do we need to teach people stoicism is a massive component within the human condition that needs to be practiced and taught. I think that the challenge is is it one of those concepts that's too ambiguous, that it requires too many analysis through cultural development, through influence, through educational ability, through intelligence, emotional intelligence, what teams you've chosen to be a part of, you know, all that plays a role. But if none of those positive aspects are there, how do you put, at least give us the understanding how you put a person on the path to become stoic?
It's really like if you think about the entire mental toughness mindset operandi, how the brain actually works. This may sound kind of lame, but it's only
nothing you say is lame.
It's just a choice. It's just a choice. You can choose to be magnanimous, or you can choose not to.
But hold on, is fear a choice?
Fear is a choice.
When your limbic system kicks in, and you know that person is holding a gun to your face.
Yes.
Your most primal, the oldest component of your brain is going to trigger.
It's going to. And then you're saying that stoicism is in there as well. It is.
To be able to say, as soon as the trigger, to get hold of that and suppress it.
It is. Fear, like every other emotion, we're going to have them 100%, dude. I'm not saying don't have them. I'm saying be aware. Oh my God, I got frightened. Okay, now what? Now I can choose to remain frightened. Now I can choose to go XX frightened, or now I can choose to take a breath, assess the situation, become more stoic, and make decisions. Right? So I'm saying it's a choice of, I'm not saying don't be aware or don't give into those emotions that we're feeling. Fight or flight, freeze, those are real every day, every situation. It's what you do once you understand that that's happening is what can help make you stoic, right? Hey man, you're going down a dark alley, boogeyman jumps out and says, boo! Hey, you may scream, you may freeze, you may run. All those things are legit, but somewhere in there, you've got to, okay, I was scared. That was kind of scary. All right, what's next? I can choose to be victim. I can choose to be scared. I can choose the not so positive things. I can choose to use one of the 12 tactics to regain control of my nervous system, my sympathetic, my parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system. I can have tools to make choices to be less stressed, to be happier, to be calm, right? That's all we're trying to do, is give you arrows in your quiver so that you understand what's going on with your mind and give you tools to kind of control or make better choices for an outcome.
You guys are suggesting that people have a comprehensive understanding of their existential transcendentalism, man.
Dude, it's hard, right?
Where yep, I'm in this
afraid.
spot, man. I want to run my ass off, but I'm going to Roger up. And I know because I spent X amount of years learning this and X amount of years of learning this and X amount of years you learn this. One of the things when I was listening to one of your shows before, I want to enter, you made a comment and someone had asked you why you went to Buds and you'd made a comment. I wanted to learn the skills I didn't know I knew I didn't have to be able to save and protect the people I care about.
Yeah, totally.
Right? All right. So that ignited, this trip for you, this absolutely insane journey of yours where you, through training, enhanced that original, I'm going to solve problems, Stoicism. I want to be invested in solutions. I want to be part of the thing that's bigger than myself. Right. You brought all that through, and now all of a sudden you recognize, man, you have to train your mind to be that way. To be able to make a choice in the most difficult moment of your life that's the right choice based on, I'm assuming when you look at it, you look through intentionality as a framework of moral, you build out your moral compass. And I'm assuming flipping the script is the mental health aspect to be able to change the dialogue from negative speech
the
to
paradigm.
positive.
Hey man, do hard things. Right.
All right. So let's get to the next one. Choosing the wrench and the wrench, i.e. stress inoculation, has been a part of your existence for the last 30 years, would you say? 30 years, right?
Yeah, easy 30. Oh my God, how old am I again?
Yeah, you're an old man. You are an old man, and you keep doing crazy ass shit, which I'm going to get into here in a second. But I really want to understand in your mind, because people are losing their minds over things they don't need to lose their minds about right now. And I think it's because they haven't been stress inoculated enough.
100%, man.
So will you explain that?
Yeah. So choosing the wrench is, I would say, taking the harder road. In the lessons, we talk about a movie with Matt Damon and Robin Williams where
Good Will Hunting, man.
Good Hunting, exactly. Right?
I watch that show 3 times a year. No doubt, 3 times a year.
Right. So he was telling the story about when he was a kid and his dad was saying, hey man, you're in trouble now. Do you want whatever it was, the belt or the wrench? Right? The belt being the softer punishment, the lesser stress inoculator, or the wrench, the harder stress inoculator and the more painful. And his response was, fuck, I'm choosing the wrench. You ask him how come? Fuck you. It's harder. It's harder. By increasing that stress, by increasing your stressors, everything else apparently becomes easier.
In terms of memory, comprehension, problem solving, all of those cognitive things, and your obviously physical does, right? Unless you're destroying your body, right? Where you're just too hard on. But certainly physically improves, mental, emotional, spiritual. Those are all improving with the harder you push yourself, the more pain you endure.
Yes is the answer. Maybe I'll soften the word pain because it's really just stress. Okay. It doesn't matter, right? We're using pain here because it's kind of a physical thing, but it's just stress. Okay. I'll use 2 examples here. Hey, I'm afraid of open water swimming. So someone throws you in the ocean and force you to swim a mile back to shore. Frightened out of your mind, right? You end up getting it done. Okay. The same thing happens, but now it's a 1.5 mile swim. You're like, you know what? I'm less afraid. My stressor was the 1 mile swim, but now 1.5 miles doesn't seem so bad because I know I can already do a mile, right? So you've chosen the wrench. You've chosen the harder of the two things and said, oh, now that I've done a mile and a half doesn't seem so bad. Now that I've run a mile in 5 minutes, running a mile and a half in 6 minutes doesn't seem so bad. So the more stress, the more stress we can apply to ourselves gives us a higher threshold baseline on everything else that we're doing.
Can I jump in and just add a quick little story for everybody listening? Because, often you hear people conjure up these types of programs and, we're life-changing, life-altering, world-class, whatever it is. And a lot of it's just a bunch of malarkey. Yeah. Right. But I'm going to tell you all a story. So when I was in second phase with 208, I failed pool comp. Just completely just lost my focus, lost my mind, just crushed, failed in. So I was in PTRR. Well, Chris was in class 207, and they were in third phase, and they swam. They're about ready to go out to the island, and they swam their 5.5 nautical mile swim. And I'm pretty sure it wasn't summer, was it?
No,
it was a beautiful day. I remember it was one of the most beautiful days, but it was freezing cold. And if you don't understand 5.5 nautical, that's like 7.5 miles.
That's
for all you,
a long swim.
It's a ridiculous, like you're swimming from Coronado to IB and back, it seems like, right?
Yeah.
And so I was in this transitional place. So a lot of times as a post-Hell Week brown shirt, I didn't have to do anything. I was just kind of hanging out in the pit. Well, I saw them go out and I was busting chops and hammering everybody. And they went out and came back in, and you guys weren't in the lead, but you were certainly middle somewhere.
Middle.
You're about middle. You guys always. Who was your swim buddy again?
Todd Owen.
That's right, Todd.
Is it crazy to remember that stuff? It's crazy.
Well, hold on. I mean, I worked with Todd. We worked as a team when the Oregon State Beavers won the Collegiate World Series champions. We worked together with the team. So I speak to Todd regularly. I mean, he's one of the most awesome people on the planet. Anyways, so you guys got out, and you came up the beach, and you were gray.
Yeah.
And you were not there. And I was just like, no, I need to get, grabbed you, and we rushed you into medical right there. Your you were like, what, a degree or 2 degrees from irreparable hyperthermia? I mean,
go ahead. That swim, I think it was that swim that I actually set the Bud's rectal body temperature record.
Lowest ever
At 88.4 degrees. I remember that. But you know what's funny, Dave, is that I'll let you finish your story, but your recollection and my recollection are going to be totally different. Because in my head, everything was perfectly fine. My body, my physical state was not. But my mental state was completely scattered. I mean,
well, you were answering questions.
Yes.
And you were smiling, as you always do, in the midst of the worst wrench you're taking. I knew it was off. I'd known you enough. I'd seen enough guys in this space. I knew you weren't right. And it got you in there. But yeah, I mean, so when the listeners hear about, you as we'll call you the center point of these concepts coming together, right? Which is essential. You have done it. You have allowed the wrench to be plied. You have chosen the wrench. Most times you've chosen which wrench you wanted. And you continue to do so by doing, the world's toughest eco challenge, doing the rim to rim to rim to rim. You've got the Arrowhead 135 coming up.
Yeah.
And the insane, absolutely ridiculously crazy, makes no sense whatsoever on the planet. Nuts. Which is a 3,000 mile paddle across the Atlantic. Is that what
that is? What it is. And you're right. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah, man.
So tell us more about the wrench.
Yeah. That is the wrench. And, I wouldn't consider myself like, I really don't seek, I really like, I like to push myself. I like to choose the wrench. I like to do hard things. I think hard things make everything else in life easier. It sets a different reference point, a different baseline for everything else in your life. I love the idea of doing crucible experiences from what I learn each time, right? I love the unknown, the 3,000 mile Talisker Whiskey Atlantic Challenge. Myself, Brian Shantosh, two of the Navy SEALs, James Hine and Brian Nicholson, are doing a 3,000 mile paddle across the Atlantic Ocean in 2022. And I am scared to fucking death for a myriad of reasons.
Tell us why.
They want to set a world record.
Of course they do. It's Jimmy and them. They're all nuts.
I know, right?
They're all nuts. You labeled three dudes that are insane.
They're insane.
They're insane.
Yeah. I got personal struggles, man. I was telling Tosh, my boy, man, I think Tosh trying to kill me. I love him to death, but I think he's trying to kill me. I was telling him, like, I still am, maybe kind of, sort of. I'm in the struggle bus right now with the ability to set a world record in an event that none of us have any experience in. Nobody's had open ocean rowing. Mother Nature plays a big part in it. And what I'm coming to terms with is I'm afraid to train that hard to set a world record for failure.
You're not afraid to paddle a freaking rowboat across the Atlantic, but you're.
Oh no, man! We'll finish the thing for sure.
You're afraid I'm not going to set a world record. All right. Again, how you choose wrenches, Chris.
Yeah, like
teach us, explain why you want to do this right now. It's really because I think the hardest thing is you're going to have people that are going to hear you all these different times and they're fascinated, just as I am every single chance I have an opportunity to engage with you. But it's like, all right, maybe I'm never going to get to a place where I'm going to row 3,000 miles, but if I listen to why Chris wants to do this, I'll be able to formulate my own construct of what my 3,000 mile race is.
Yeah. Well, it's twofold. One, I constantly, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to join the Navy SEALs. Like I know I have more to give, but I just don't know I just can't push myself on my own to find those things, to find out why I am. I know psychologically why I am. I know mentally why I am. Physically, I'm still maybe looking for, or I want to find. I want to find it, man. You know, it's out there, and I want to like, oh dang. And I've been there twice. I've been there a lot of times where it's like, yeah. But
whoa. You can't just gloss over that moment where you were face to face with that thing and go, yeah. Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, well, we all get to a place where, man, the voice in your head that's telling you to quit something and the voice in your head that's telling you to continue are in competition, and your only job is to separate yourself and look at both those voices and moderate, right? We know we have to moderate those two things, and usually the voice that says quit is always louder. So you've got to learn to exercise the voice of the winner inside, or the goal seeker inside, or the dude that's like, shut the fuck up, bro. I'm sorry, I'm cussing a lot.
That's Shut okay, up, man. That's okay. People will understand. That's genuine. That's authentic. Keep going, so please.
Excited,
Don't
dude.
stop. No, go. Yeah. Keep going. You are
that
roll.
Voice, that quiet voice that's whispering, you can do it, and that loud shouting voice that says, no, your feet hurt, no, your back hurts, no, you're tired, no, you don't have any sleep, don't have any food, any water, all the fucking excuses that keep people from being great. Like, that voice is loud, but it's a choice of which voice to allow to speak to you. And I keep looking for that voice. I want to test that voice. I want to say, I'm in control of this spirit. The body's going to do what the body's going to do, but I'm in control of this spirit or this mental space that tells me this whispering voice that you can continue is loud. And I keep looking for that. I want to find places where that voice is just overcomes the doubt of not doing things. Like that's what I'm looking for the 3,000 mile race. That goal is so big. I'm terrified. And I haven't felt like that in a long time. I do hard races and stuff, but
no, you do crazy ass races, man. What? Fiji was 621 kilometers or whatever.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But here's what's different, Dave. I can walk. I can run. I can trot. I can ride a bike. I can push a bike. I can carry a bike. I can paddle. I can pull a boat. I can do all the things that are necessary to make that event successful for me. I've tested that skill. I'm in that skill. The fear or the the distance is looming and kind of overwhelming a little bit, but you can complete it if you just keep moving forward. With the Talisker whiskey, dude, I've been on a Concept 2 rower, man. That's it.
It's not like you rode for Harvard crew.
Yeah, man, I'm 5'9", dude, 171 pounds.
You've seen the size of a crew team lately. They're like 6'6", 6'8", these dudes.
Yeah, so, I mean, the challenge is I'm sweating thinking about it right now.
You should be. You should be, like, vomiting. Like, if it was impending in my life, I'd be like, and with all you guys, I'd be like,
yeah, but that's so exciting. We talk about micro goals and goal setting and stuff. Like, you need those things to keep you moving in a direction, to rediscover self, to understand who you are, to understand why you are. My goal on this planet is to create deep, meaningful relationships. I do that by finding a better way to do things, right? This goal is big, and I'm excited.
So let me ask you this, man, before you explode right now, because that's what happens when people like Chris get so excited, there's an explosion happening. And I hope everybody is feeling that explosion in your head right now and in your heart, because what you're hearing is a person that is coming from that true place of love. He has a genuine love in his heart for other human beings. He has a genuine passion to want to help all of you. So please, put away whatever is distracting you and pay attention to what he's talking about, because there's a deeper thing in Chris Smith. There's a deeper reason behind his why, right? And if you could, Chris, for all those people, those young people out there that are suffering, that are just beginning their journey in life, me at 22 going in, you at 29 going in, wherever that moment was, I'm going to begin this crucible. I'm going to begin figuring out what Stoicism looks like. What from a place of energy or spirituality or wherever, what is the wisdom that can really spark you through those never quit moments? What are some of the ideas to invest in, or where to seek inspiration?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start with something so trivial, you're probably going to laugh at me. First, you just got to start. Like, we're talking about these ginormous races and stuff, right? If you're sitting on the couch, bro, walk around the block. Get off the couch, take one step around the block. Set your goal set for whatever, half mile, 1 mile. It just needs to be big enough for you to excite you to take action. It has to spark the inner flame to take action. The other thing I'd focus on is, man, you have to spend time in the mirror looking at yourself and asking yourself, why? Why should I get off the couch and walk around the block? Is it to get around the block? Is it to lose weight? It doesn't matter what it is. So I'm giving every single person listening, I want you to know it's okay to be selfish. Your why can be as selfish as it needs to be. It's your why. You can choose to share it or not choose to share it, but your why is what's going to get you off the couch. It's going to get you into a race. It's going to get you that new job. It's going to do all the things necessary to keep you moving forward in a direction. It's the rudder to your life. If that's not clear, you find yourself distracted on all these other paths. Not saying they're bad paths by any means, but you find yourself distracted and not accomplishing the things you set forward. Thirdly, do not be afraid to fail. Do not be afraid to fail. Failing is choosing the wrench. Woo, that was a bit much today. You know what? I can come back tomorrow and tackle that sucker.
Hold on. Probably one of my favorite stories out there, man. You on a show, you're talking about, you told everybody you're going to be the Navy SEAL. And everybody knew. And Chris Smith shows up and goes through PTRR. And I remember you there and us hanging out and how much I fell in love with you immediately. And then day one, O course.
A1-1, dude. Yeah.
A1-1, O course, hour 1, O course. And
Yep.
then second evolution,
Treading water pool
treading
thing.
water,
Dude.
life saving out of the
Yeah.
pool. And
I'm
you
shaking
failed.
I'm shaking my head
failed.
right now because as we go through life, we have these impactful memories, crucibles, experiences that
Yeah, man. Yeah, brother. It was the chance.
Whoa, wow. That's
Chief
crazy.
Goward.
Yeah, man. Like you have these moments that are let me get some water.
That's all right. Take your time. This
crazy,
is
dude.
another reason why I love you as much as I do, because you come from the heart.
It's crazy, dude.
You are a believer in us. And I love you for it, man. You just believe, Chris.
Dude, I feel so close, like man, like the things that make a difference. Yeah. And that day made a difference, man. Like, again, I don't know, man. Like I told I actually got tears in my eyes again. Fuck
Yeah,
me.
man.
Every single person in my life, every stranger, every person that I'm going to be a Navy SEAL. And in the second hour of training, I cannot tread water. Not sure if you know, Dave, but SEALs operate in the ocean. You got to tread some water.
It does present a bit of a challenge. It does make things tougher.
Oh, it makes things tougher, man. But so anyway, you know the drill, right? We're standing on the diving board. We're out there. We're fully dressed in all our greens, got our boots on, hats on, everything on. Boom, jump in the water. And I don't remember this saying. So I'm going to tangent real quick. I remember your name written on your brown shirt and your white shirt. It's crazy. I remember I was like, hey, it's a long name. It goes all the way across your chest.
It must suck.
In there. Like,
that must suck.
It's so
stenciling. I bet I could show him a better way to do it.
I was like, there's got it. Like literally, it's so vivid, so crystal clear. Anyway,
Wow.
we're in the thing, and the saying, I don't know if you remember the saying, but it was like, well, that was not in the brochure. It's like, oh, it's just a 2-mile run. Oh, it's just treading water. Oh, it's just life-saving. It's like, oh, it's so pretty. Look at this. In reality, not the case.
Not so much. None of it.
Oh man. God. I practice like everything else. I never just thought like, dude, in the water we go, we're treading water. And to me, it was like, I don't know, to me in my head it was like 45 minutes and I'm freaking exhausted. You know the story, right? I'm exhausted. They're like, go in the water, untie your shoes. We got squirt nuts in our boots. I just couldn't, didn't have it, man. Like I didn't have the skill set to accomplish that task, right? We get out the water, me, 5 other black guys and 2 white guys, whatever. We get standing the man on the carpet. Senior Chief Goward comes up and he's like, he gives me this speech about how, that this, like, you think this is about you. You think that this is about you. Because I did. I thought that I just wanted to be a Navy SEAL. I didn't understand what he was talking about. He keeps talking. You think this is about you. It's bigger than you, son. It's bigger than you. And then he says something like literally just, oh, fuck. Just like the art of now I know, like the mentorship, selflessness, guidance. I am going to give you a silver bullet. I'm going to vouch for you. I'm going to go to my commanding officer and say, give these guys a second chance. It's bigger than you, son. Right? I'm going to give you this silver bullet. He set an expectation and a goal and he set this thing so high, there's no way I can fail now because now I'm not letting myself down. I'm letting I didn't know what the bigger picture was yet, but it was so impactful. I'm like, I don't know what this is yet, but I want some of that shit.
Yeah.
I mean? Like, it's there. And so this whole interim from me getting out of the pool wet with boots on because I took off nothing, standing on the carpet in front of the man, Senior Chief Goward, giving us this speech about how this idea of joining this team is bigger than the individual, bigger than yourself. Going back is like maybe 90 minutes. I don't know, maybe 60 minutes, 90 minutes. Back onto the high dive, back into the water. Treading water, same amount of time. Take off your boots. Took off my boots. Take off your pants. Take off my pants. Take off your shirt. Make a thing. Take off my shirt. I'm like, holy fuck. It didn't hit me, David. It hit me. It's just a choice. Because my skill, I didn't learn anything in 60 minutes. No one taught me how to tread water. No one taught me how to take off my boots or take off my pants or blouse my thing. No one taught me anything different. It's only been 90 fucking minutes, man. No one taught me anything.
Yeah, they did.
This changed.
Yeah.
My mind changed. My why changed. My reason to complete this evolution changed. Right? And I'm like, oh, fuck. And it hit me like right there. I'm like, this is so doable. It's just about what I'm thinking about. Do you remember Mark Van Meter?
Yeah, man.
Mark Van Meter told me something after my hype out. He goes, things in life are only as difficult as you choose to make them. Because I was struggling on some other water. Okay, I can't swim. I'm going to say it right now. I can't swim.
You swam just enough, man.
Just enough.
You swam just enough, right?
Yeah. He said, things in life are only as difficult as you choose to make them. And that also hit me really, really hard. It's like, I'm only making this evolution hard because I'm thinking it's hard. If I stop thinking it's hard and I can complete, right? So those ideas in your head, that's what we're trying to show with Trident Mindset. We're trying to help you that you can do these things. You just have to have a big enough reason why and some skills. And we're trying to teach you the skills in there. Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that. And thank you for just being you, man. That's probably one of the greatest, most inspiring stories I've ever had the pleasure to interview someone with. And it's just, thank you. It's just, you are a power beyond even your conception.
Thank you.
And I think, you are moving into this place now with Trident Mindset.
Yeah.
And to get people to realize that, when you ask yourself these questions of why, what's my why? Why am I here? Where do I want to go? These are not shallow answers.
No, they're not.
No, they are not shallow answers that take a minimal amount of time to figure out.
Right.
It is a lifelong quest. And regardless of whether or not you're actually searching or whether or not life's profound inclination for suffering upon us, you're going to have to figure out those questions either way. So why not set forth on this path, right? And begin to develop your Trident Mindset to figure it out. And, so when you think about it, because I trying to create this image of depth for a human being in the human mind, right? And I've been trying to do that through the past 4 or 5 months, right? Because of what we're experiencing on every level. And I think we're losing that ability to see way down deep at the bottom of why we're here. How do you explain to people, hey, the journey's long. It's not a fast thing. This isn't 6-minute abs. We're not teaching you how to make $1 million in the next and put on 100,000 Instagram followers in the next whatever. Well, it's not the shit we're teaching.
Yeah.
You're teaching people, hey, listen, if you want to really understand yourself and the depths of yourself and the possibilities of who you are as a person, you need to get out there and you need to develop these skills by putting that wrench, picking the right wrench for you, and beating yourself with it over and over and over until you come to that place where your wisdom is at another level, but also then to share that wisdom. So can you please talk a little bit about, because you've always spoke in terms of hey, it's not about me. That bigger picture. And I think that's what Chief Gower was saying. It's the bigger than us. So how do you get people to realize the importance of the bigger mission?
Man, first, again, I know I keep going back to the same things, but literally it's just so clear to me. Like, how important the why is, right? A clear why. I want to give people an out here, just like you were hitting on before. Understanding that why, again, is not 6-minute abs. Spending time in the mirror looking at yourself may not come in 1 day, 2 days, 10 days, 10 months, whatever it is. It's a journey. It's a journey. But I believe that mental toughness is a learned skill. It's a learned skill. But just like any other skill you learn, playing basketball, playing chess, playing baseball, freaking digging a ditch, doesn't matter. You don't get better at it if you don't practice. If you don't practice and don't test it, you don't know if you're improving on it. So what we do is like we give you time to practice one thing per month.
One thing.
One thing.
Not 25 different steps.
Not 25
not anything.
different things right now.
One thing per month.
One thing per month. We give you workouts of the day that you can do that. We let you assess that, right? If the first lesson is micro goals, you're going to focus on one thing, setting micro goals to accomplish a larger goal, a larger picture, right? Something bigger than yourself, understanding your clarity. Set those small steps to gain a bigger picture for an entire month. Like we all digest so much this, especially right now, man. We're just like, we have more time and we don't leave the house or whatever people are doing. Just all this information is coming in and you're just like in one ear and out the other. You're not like using that information for anything. So I challenge you guys, learn new. Yeah, that's just the word. Learn new things. Don't just skim over things. Learn new skills. Learn skills that can help you in your future. You're not going to be an expert in 1 month. We understand that. Everybody understands that. It's a lifelong practice. Like anything, it's a lifelong practice. My mentor, Mr. Randy Davis, that's my man, I swear to God. I think he hates me because
nobody hates you, man. Except maybe some of the bad guys in your past. They probably don't like you too much.
Dude, he's got me reading a book called Essentialism. Right?
Ooh, let me write that down right now.
Come on, dude. It's not.
Hold
I'm
on.
sorry. I'm lying to you. He's got me reading a book called Essentialism. I've read the same first 10 pages. I'm on month 8.
Why?
Because I don't understand essentialism. Why finish the fucking book, dude? You can't get past. You can't even exercise the first 10 pages. Get rid of the non-essential stuff and just focus on the essential.
Wow.
Not Chris. I'm doing 1,000 things. I'm just wasting.
I got lots of shit to solve. I got lots of shit to solve. Don't interrupt me. I got a lot of lives to fix. I got a lot of people to influence. Yeah.
But here's what I'm learning. So I'm reading literally the same 10 pages, man. Like, why move forward? Why finish the book to say I finished the book? Why have a library of books back that I've read every single book, but I can't exercise anything in the books that I'm learning? If they're personal development books or books that have more skills, like why? Okay, I've read 300 books. Well, you don't use any of those skills. Right? Philosophy a little bit different, right? We're trying to conjugate this in our head, but for tactical application of things, skills, Trident Mindset, skill, things that we're trying to get skills on, practice until you get better at it before you add something new. Right?
How many different skills do we need?
We have 12 in our course, and I think that's enough, right? Because you don't know when adversity strikes or when stress happens or when you're unhappy. You might not know exactly what arrow to pull out of your quiver. So you need some arrows in your quiver.
A lot. Truckloads.
Right. Let me pull out Stoicism. Wow, man, you know what? I got cut off in traffic or something at the grocery store. Let me pull out
my Glock 23 because I'm freaking out. I've been in my house for 6 months and I can't fucking be stoic. I want to shoot this person in the face. I got no control. I want to be the wrench in this person. All right. I mean,
we have these skills that we pull out. So we use the right skill or a couple of skills to match the adversity or the stress that we're looking for, right? We need to pull out the right amount of things. Is 12 the end all be all? Maybe not. I don't know. Let's start with something. Let's start with one at a time and then build upon so you become a better human being, right? We're looking for stress-free and happiness, right? That's what we're trying to get to.
What is that again?
We're trying to build being stress-free, being calm, and being happy.
Ooh, this is
better
interesting.
Productivity.
I got to ask you before we wrap this up here. You just opened up Pandora's box. This might be another half hour to show. So, all right. Stress-free.
Stress free.
Mr. Smith.
Yeah. Well, yeah, stress free. I'm gonna say stress free. I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna be stoic here.
Okay.
It's impossible. I know where you're going with this. See,
No, you don't. No, you
All
don't.
right, let's get it.
No, you don't. No, you don't, because it's all interpretation, right?
Totally.
The more stoic you become, the more you recognize that stress is a component of refinement. It's a component of the anvil that we need, right? We've grabbed the wrench or the hammer. And so, part of this other, one of the basis of how we adapt is by feeling that perpetual
Absolutely.
pain, right?
Absolutely.
It's great. I got you.
Distress and eustress, right?
Yep.
They're both viable.
So the idea is that, all right, finding in that space where you can manage all that, is it necessarily a peaceful mind, a peaceful heart, or because, or is it closer to just feeling a sensation that life isn't all hell, fire, and brimstone? It's not Dante. We're not doomed to Dante's Inferno, right?
Right.
If we have these things that you're teaching, then we can apply an intention of happiness within our lives that gives us the inspiration to then go grow and share that with others.
Yeah. We're not trying to eliminate stress. You're 100% right. We need stress just to be human. Like, we need distress. We need eustress. We need stress just to continue growth. Like, I just came from the Grand Canyon. Dude, that's water and time. That's a lot of stress. Look at
that's
that.
A lot of stress, man.
Right?
And it created one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Yeah.
exactly.
So we need that to happen. What we're trying to get at is, like, you can develop or learn the skill to control how you react to your stressors, right? You can, if something happened and it creates an arousal, which it will, it can be stress, whatever. Well, pick a tool to help you understand or control or mitigate those stressors, the negative stressors, right? Oh my gosh, something bad happened to you. Whew, take a breath. I might need 2 of those. I feel so much better. The tingles come over your body. You've mitigated a negative stress response with a positive stress, with a tool or a tactic to turn it into a more positive stress. That, we think, is going to create calm, which in turn creates happiness, right? You're in control of those things.
Happiness is a derivative of being in a calm space.
That's
where happiness launches from. That's an interesting concept. So you're able to clear out all the other noise, all the other stressors, or reduce it to a place where you can have your prefrontal cortex engaged, that, very focused in consciousness, and an ability to have a greater conceptualization of the space-time continuum that's out in front of you.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, wow, I can clearly see my future. I can clearly, I can imagine the steps of my intention, and now I'm going to lay those out and go there. And that's the sensation of happiness, the momentum.
Yeah. And you're making those choices too. Like, really, the whole thing is like, man, I'm going to make a choice to be stressed out or not be stressed out. I'm going to make a choice to be calm or be erratic, right? Using those things, being more stress-free, being more calm, it can only, in my mind, lead to being happier, right?
Amen.
That happier is contagious. If I'm smiling, you're smiling. If you ever try to argue somebody that's smiling at you for real, you're trying to argue somebody that's like actually.
Well, there was this time down at Fibber McGee's where Tony was smiling at everybody before he punched them.
Yeah. So it's really challenging, right? It's really challenging.
Yeah.
And you control that environment too, man. You can walk into a room and the energy that you're bringing or the vibration that you're bringing can change the dynamics of the room immediately.
Well, when you've had, obviously this is not, you were born with this is a gift of yours and a curse, as you've said. You're electric. You flip on and you like to be flipped on. You like to flip other people on. Making 7 people a day smile.
Yeah.
that's a monumental task, right? Because of all the different ways we can make a person smile, all the different things they're experiencing in that moment, all of the different traumas in their life, all of the different factors of their own stressors. And but you walk in, man, you can do that.
Yeah, I try hard.
You accomplish it. I've rarely, if ever, not seen you alter the energy of a room in a positive way, right? And then the more someone knows you, the more they seek it out and want, and like even before, like this morning, I'm flipping mine on earlier in the day because I want to make sure that my energy is reciprocal to yours, that I can not only feed off it, but, service yours. And it's that mutual back and forth.
Yeah.
A lot of people they're not that type, right? They're not, you say, I'm an extrovert, I'm an introvert or whatever.
Right.
A lot of people don't possess that. So will the Trident mindset help people kind of find that higher energy?
Dude, just try. This is a simple exercise for our listeners. Go into a place where, when the emotion of stress or fear or whatever comes upon you, just smile. Right? I'm afraid. Just smile. I'm a little stressed out. Just smile. Just smile. Maybe fake a giggle.
That's so awesome.
All you got to do, man.
Oh,
just
God.
smile and fake a giggle, and next thing you're like, oh wow, I'm not in that negative space anymore.
Right.
And it becomes contagious. It just flips, man. It's a paradigm shift. It's flipping the script, right? It's just changing things immediately because unfortunately our brain ain't that dang gone. I hate to say this, Dave, because I know you're all in the brain, but it ain't that complicated, man.
No, it isn't.
You can focus on one thing at a time.
One thing.
You stub your toe, smile, start laughing. You can't even feel your toe anymore.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just changes that dynamic of things. Again, you enter a room and you smile and you're happy and your energy is effusive, big and gregarious. Man, people pick up on that.
Yeah.
Same guy walks into the room, all grumpy face and pouty mouth and whatever, shitty pants, and that changes the dynamic of the room as well. Right?
Get your shitty pants out of here, buddy. Get those shitty pants out of here, right? This is not a shitty pants area. Everybody get out of here, right? Don't you wish you could, like, they've got all these signs now, right, with COVID and stuff. We ought to just put up, signs of the stuff we do. No shitty pants inside.
No shitty pants. This is a shitty pants free zone.
This is a shitty pants free zone. Hey, man, you got your Depends on? All right, you can come in, though, but no shit in your pants.
Yeah, but you can change that energy, man. You can change that vibration, just like we just did the rim to rim to rim, right?
Yep.
We get down there, hot as balls, get up to the top of that thing, and my group came in maybe, I don't know, 4th group in, whatever. So there's already guys sitting up there. We had RVs up there. It was nice. We had people cooking the steaks, all team guys. Tom Dietz was up there.
Oh, yeah, man, I love that guy.
Yeah.
You want me to tell Tom Dietz story real quick?
Get it.
So we finished buds, right? I'm with the group that's waiting for 18 Delta class to start up. Jump school 18 Delta. So it was like February. We had 3 or 4 months. There were 7 of us from the West Coast. They farmed us out to the teams. I went to team 5, right? I'm working for Steve Nave and the Master of Arms Shack. And I am literally cleaning shitters all day, every day. That's all I'm doing in buds, right? They wouldn't give us a pair of fins. They wouldn't give us a nothing. They wouldn't give us nothing. They wouldn't issue us a single piece of gear, right? This is in 90, whatever it is, late 90s. And they're all right. What was it? It was bay swim, right? From over underneath the bridge all the way into Boy Scout landing, those swims. And all right, ready to go. And I'm like, I go over, I get in the water. I'm in the water fast. I'm putting out. Well, by the Brit, I have no wetsuit on. I've got just a mask, some shitty fins, right? My UDT vest. I'm freezing. Like I can't even, I'm all over the place. Finally, I'm like the last guy. And I all of a sudden, dude, I feel a hand on me and it's Tom Dietz. And he goes, "You all right, son?" And I go, He's like, go over to the golf course, swim to the golf course right now. I want you to do 108 count bodybuilders. I'm like, hoo-yah, sir. You know, I swim over, I'm doing him. He's just sitting there in the water, just staring at me for however long it took me to do 108 counts, right? I get back in the water, come over, right? And he goes, you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm warm now. He's like, let's finish. And he finishes with me. And we get up and he was just like, hey, way not to quit. Good on you, son.
Yeah.
And just that was one of those like, oh my God, there are people that they're going to be hard, but they're going to love on you.
Yeah.
You know?
Dude, I love you, Rut. So I'm going to share this story about Tom Dietz with you. You're the first person besides Tom Dietz I've ever shared this story with. Maybe a little embarrassing, but doesn't really matter. At Team 5, me and, God rest his soul, Jason Freewald.
Oh, I love
good man.
Jason.
Yeah,
love you, Jason.
Yeah, good guy. We're in platoon, and we're little, man. Like, you know me, I was like 140 pounds or something. I'm so small.
But Jason was small then, too.
Yeah, we were tiny,
yeah,
dude.
you
right?
guys were coming out of buds. You guys were just thin, man.
Tiny. But we didn't want to be tiny anymore. So we're like, is there a way to not be tiny anymore? Oh, there's a way to not be tiny anymore. So we sourced some
non-tininess, yeah.
Little untininess, right? We sourced it a little bit. And this is like on a Friday. So we're like, oh yeah, dude, we can get jacked up. Ah! So we start the cycle. Go through the weekend. We're jacking weights all weekend. Show up to the grinder on Monday. Monday, drug screen.
Yep.
Random names, blah, blah, blah. Chris Smith.
Oh.
Random names, Chris Smith, right? Dude, I'm drug-free except for that event.
Yeah.
Right? Chris Smith, I'm like, dude, I just started this cycle. I'm like freaking out, running around the compound, like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, what to do. Hey, sir, do you mind if I talk to you on the berm? Walk outside the gate, go talk on the berm. I know it's stupid, dude. This is what I did. Shit's never going to happen again. He puts a hand of compassion and leadership on my shoulder. And he goes, go home. Went home. Now I'm here. Anybody else could have just changed the direction.
Your entire career.
My entire career. 20 plus years later, this last weekend, I hadn't seen Tom Dietz since I left Team 5.
Mm-hmm.
He's there. He's an RV driver. They're cooking steaks for us. I'm like, cool, sir. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I finally get to shake his hand and say thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful moment, wasn't it?
Oh, my God. We both kind of like, it's like, dude, like.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Just.
That one individual.
That one individual. Maybe energy, maybe me not being a douchebag, maybe me whatever.
All the above.
All the stuff.
Like you said, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything.
All the stuff.
It's
all
everything.
The stuff. I'm actually getting emotional just thinking about it because, dude, who knows, man? Like, who knows?
You don't.
You just don't know. So anyway, keep that smile on so I keep giggling, dude. I want to finish my story about the race.
No.
So anyway, we're the fourth team coming up, yada, yada.
Yep.
We get to the North Rim. It's dark. It's 10:45. We finish. There's some teams out there, and everybody's in the chair kind of slumped up. It's a nice 23-mile hike. Good hard hike. I get up there, and I just start singing. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
Great song.
Ain't no, singing. And you see like the energy of everybody.
Ain't no sunshine when it rains. Oh God.
Anytime she goes away.
God, that's so awesome. All right.
The energy of the camp. People got up. They were like down, they're like,
yeah,
dude, it's a hard walk. I'm tired, yada, yada. They get up. They start singing. People's energy changes. Like, it's nothing. What did I do? I chose to sing a song in a time of adversity. We're all tired. Yeah. Lifted the spirits, having some beers now. Everything's cool. So you have the power inside to make the change, to be the vibration that inspires people to be better. I feel it's irresponsible, selfish to have experience, to have knowledge, and to choose not to share it. Right? And that's what we're doing now. We're trying our best to share the lessons we've learned over these decades and throughout our life with people who haven't had the same experiences. If I could connect and create deep and meaningful relationships in doing that, dude, I'm good, man. I'm like, I'm good. I'm okay. That's just what I want to do. You know, like every day I think about that, like every single day.
Well,
Really?
I was going to ask you for the final question. What do you want to go? What do you want to do with your life? And holy shit, I need a minute to wipe my eyes a little bit, brother. Well, Chris, I mean,
I love you, dude. Remember we just saw each other like not 2 months. It was like
just pure, man. Well, I just, it's funny, and and this, you if you live a certain way, and you push yourself to really try and be something that makes things better.
Yeah.
That's a tough, man. It's heavy. It's heavy, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it. Helping other human beings is all of it.
Yeah, man.
Worth every single ounce of pain or failure or whatever you got.
Yeah.
And every time I see you, every time I get to talk to you, every time I think about you or us together or just you as a person or look at your website, and it just it redefines or not redefines, it guarantees that relationships are the absolute most critical thing in all of life. And if you can have the opportunity to meet someone like you, Chris, you make my life better just by that exchange. And I just want to thank you for that.
Dude, thank you, man. Like, we started this thing with
I don't even know what it was. Where was it? I don't even know, but it was good, man.
Authentic conversation, man. Like, just, thank you, dude. Like, legit.
You're welcome. Yeah. And is there anything right now you want to just drop real quick? You got a course starting with Trident Mindset?
I'll just
something
about
Trident CrossFit, something about the race coming up. Anything you'd like, if we can donate to it or help you guys or whatever.
Yeah, man, I reach out. So for Trident Mindset guys, like Dave said, www.tridentmindset.com. Nominal fees, $39. You get a new lesson every month. Practice that lesson, learn that lesson, just be a better person. We try to keep it inexpensive because we're really trying to impact a lot of people. Oh, I hate trying to do this, whatever.
No, I know. I know. And listen, it's just people now, they're going to listen to this show, Chris, and they're going to be thirsty. They want to start to learn. They want that understanding. So if I had it all in my head right now, I probably should ask you. I would be happy to do it for you. But please.
It's just my way of trying to hey, you know what? I can't go out and physically connect with as many people as I can by putting something out there. So it's just my way of trying to express, trying to create meaningful relationships, trying to help other people, because that's what I'm here for, man. I'm 100%
You're
clear.
A teacher.
Exactly. That it gets me juiced up all the time. And every time I think about, I get an email from someone that's been on the course or whatever, or taking the course. They're like, oh my God, this one little thing I used today was just awesome. It gives me purpose.
You're in the chief stage of your life. You're the chief, and we need those. We need more people. We need more people to emulate. We need more people to give us information that makes us better, and we need to be able to compare ourselves to other people as a model. And you're that model. So, man.
Ryan. Yeah. So I like to race, man. You guys can catch me on my Instagram. I don't know what it is. Mr. Smith, MYSTRSMITH. I don't manage that well, but anyway. Yeah, man. And just do you, man. Go out and do some hard shit. Choose the wrench.
Yeah. Choose the wrench.
Choose the wrench. It's only going to make you better.
Yeah.
And remember, my wrench is not your wrench.
Yeah. Hey, I want to just give a quick shout out. I know your wife has such a profound effect on your life.
Yeah.
And I love paying attention to her and what she's involved in and her smiling face. And I just want to mention her because I think, one, being married to you is not probably always the easiest in the world. But I also know that anybody who could command your love to want to invest your life with that person must be even more remarkable than you. So I just want to thank her for everything, and just to keep you going and keep you at this.
Yeah, she's awesome. My wife, I don't know if you guys know, but she's awesome. Just awesome. Has some awesome accolades. So I told you before about the 3,000 mile row and how kind of it's scary for me. And awesome to admit that I'm afraid of something, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, it is.
But guess what she does in support? She goes, I'll set a world record too. So she's going for masters weightlifting. She has 4 national titles and 4 or 5 international titles of weightlifting. So she's like, I'm going to set a world record too. So we're both trying to set a world record in 2022, which is awesome. Yeah, I'm like,
it's the year to do it.
Just to support, right? Like just to support. I'm like, gotta love you, chick, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, so, Chris Smith, my man, my brother. You are just awesome. Thanks for coming on and sharing. And at any time in the future, maybe we could get your team who's going to row on beforehand and then out.
Oh yeah, they love it, dude. You know, they love it.
It'd be fun to have everybody on. So everybody, do yourself a favor. Go ahead, check out tridentmindset.com. Go follow Chris on Instagram, everywhere else. Pay attention to all the things, all the interviews he's on, and God bless you. I love you so much, Chris. Take care.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I appreciate you, man. Shit.
Seriously. Was that one of the best podcasts, one of the best dudes you've ever heard in your life? I mean, the authenticity that Chris speaks with, the dedication that he's had in his life, the intellectualism with which he lifts everybody up around him, and the heartfelt empathy that he has to making the world a better place. I mean, he is a unicorn. He is a shiny unicorn that farts out rainbows, that literally that changes the world. When he walks into the room, he brings up the energy, he makes you better, he inspires you to live life to its fullest. And that's who Chris is. And I know you heard that today. And so it just warms my heart that I was able to have one of my heroes, one of the most, I think, important people that lives out there today and is affecting people's lives in a positive way. Certainly from our community. He's a cut above. And man, I just hope all of y'all give him a shot. Go start checking him out. Follow him online. Head over to tridentmindset.com. Check out that course. It's brilliant. Go over to Trident CrossFit, or just follow him on social media. Watch where he does his things, or follow him in his races. He's just a true inspiration. And I certainly know that my life is better because I know Chris Smith. And your life will be too. So check him out. Thanks again. I'm just so honored that you guys keep tuning in and listen to my podcast. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you feel the energy and what I'm trying to do to make the world a better place, to bring better ideas and content and ways that can just enhance our lives as we struggle in this human condition together, as we suffer every day throughout the pathway of pain, that we can ultimately find some peace in our hearts and in our minds, and that we can keep this beautiful thing called America going, man, because it's all on us. It's all on us. Certainly, there's a lot of other people that don't care about the division, that don't care about the important aspects of what it means to be a great country, to be together in order to make things better. Man, that's what we're about here at Team Froglogic. That's what I'm about. And I hope you hear it, and I hope you love it, and I hope it makes your life better. If you want to know more, if you're up for a speaker, some performance coaching, some cool Froglogic swag, head over to our website at teamfroglogic.com. Also, check out the new blog entries we're going to be posting up here next week, starting there. And also follow me again. I've been locked out of my old account at Team Froglogic on Instagram. And if you know anybody, go beat the drum for me if you would, and start hammering them and say, please give David Rutherford back his account after he earned his 66,000 followers. Let him back in. Otherwise, go start following at Ruts Froglogic. I started there. I'm going to be continuing to post. And if you're interested in really enhancing your life and learning how to embrace your fears, head over to the froglogicinstitute.com. We have Embrace Fear training course currently going on. We'll finish this week with our first course. Next course starts November 1st to December 5th. Sign up. We have 3 different tiers as well as a delayed payment program if you're struggling a little bit. But if this pandemic and all the other stressors of everything that's been going on, your kids at the house, not knowing if your job's secure, not whether or not there's going to be civil war, all this other craziness in the world, and you're really struggling, my course, and the Embrace Fear training program will help you learn how to understand your fear, accept your fear, and then utilize it as a pronounced motivational tool that enhances your ability to go find that peaceful pathway of pain in your search for what your ultimate purpose is in life. So again, I want to thank God. I want to thank Jesus Christ. I want to thank my beautiful fiance, Jana, for her help in helping me create the Froglogic Institute. She helped me write the curriculum for it. She's just my total teammate. I want to thank AJ for the back end stuff. I want to thank Kathleen. I want to thank John for the marketing stuff we got going now. All the support I got from Sean and everybody else, and Chris for evaluating, my buddy Max. I just want to thank everybody for the tremendous effort and the tremendous support that I get day in and out, and I want to thank you. Without all of you, without your commitment to me and your passion for what Froglogic is and how it can help you, I'm just humbled every single day. I love you dearly. God bless you. Godspeed to your family. Take care. Out.